Well, that escalated quickly. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Gamer Crafting Podcast, episode 39? Episode 39, that sounds right. I am Angie Indy Dyer, and general mess, but then the whole world seems like a bit of a general mess lately, so maybe in comparison I'm just kind of normal. So hello everyone, I had filmed an entirely different podcast for you this week. I filmed it last week, sitting here on my couch, and the podcast was about like guilty pleasures and, you know, things in media that we enthusiastically enjoy, which is fun but feels kind of weirdly insignificant this week. I will probably still maybe put it up on the channel this week so that people who want to hear about silly fluff and guilty pleasures are more than welcome to do so, but people who aren't really feeling the fluff might have something else to listen to too. Last Sunday, Operation Social Justice launched, and it was a huge success for us and for a lot of other small businesses that participated, so thank you to everybody who either participated or helped support small businesses that are supporting a wide range of different charities around the world. It was truly an astonishing amount of support from the yarn community, and honestly, I couldn't be more thrilled with how everything turned out. Most businesses are still running pre-orders through the end of the month, like we are. And then at the end of the month, I will ask participants to sort of self-report how much money they raised and for which charities. And we will then be able to sort of share some sort of stats about the entire initiative. Once again, my thanks to everyone who participated, either by raffling or selling things or by buying things. Your contributions to the community are very much valued, especially now the charities that we're raising money for are probably going to need money even more now, especially the people who are raising for smaller community-led initiatives. I do have quite a lot of yarn to dye. I'm actually waiting on a yarn order that may arrive today, but I have a feeling it's not coming until tomorrow because I usually get dispatch emails that say, oh, it's going to be arriving tomorrow, and I didn't get that dispatch email until around midnight, so I think that that's probably some sort of an automated thing, and it will probably arrive tomorrow rather than arriving today. Sorry, I'm trying to do my best with the not amazing light that I have going on here. We don't have the room to be storing things like softbox lights, so I kind of have to do with what I can from a window. So this window is it's almost always too bright for filming, which is why we have a flag hanging there. Well, it's not just for filming, it's because it gets really bright in here in the afternoon regardless, like almost so bright that you don't really want to be in here. It kind of hurts your eyes. Well, it hurts my eyes because I have sensitive baby eyes apparently. Anyway, so I don't know, I guess I just thought that I would sort of just kind of randomly chat about what I've been working on. I don't know, I had a few people ask about what my tips are for working from home, as I work from home and have for a long time, as does Sarah, and she has as well. But I just feel like, I don't know, I mean, I know a lot of people don't have the option to not work, right? A lot of people still have to work from home, but I mean, there's a million and one articles out there, and my advice would probably be similar. I mean, there's some people that say, oh, well, you shouldn't work in your pajamas. You know, you should definitely get up and like dress for the day because it makes you more productive. And I'm like, I don't really care that much about quote unquote productivity right now. And I am also wearing my pajamas, not my shirt, but my pajama pants are pajamas. I will probably change them when I start dyeing yarn today, but that's just because I don't want to get dye on my pajamas. I like to keep my pajamas like pristine. So that's a weird thing, isn't it? So for me, when I get up in the morning and I put clothes on other than my pajamas in order to work, it's not because I'm doing it to feel more productive. It's because I like my pajamas to feel like if I'm wearing these pajamas, I'm allowed to do nothing, which is, I don't know, everybody's a bit weird, right? I guess that's where I'm a little bit weird. So I know that I'm not doing nothing right now, but I'm not, you know, getting up and moving around, and I did just get up. I did put on makeup, so I'm not going to try and be all like, oh, I woke up like this. No, I did get up and I put makeup on because I had quite bad dark circles under my eyes, and Whereas obviously we try to be as body positive as possible. It's kind of hard to like edit 30 to 45 minute long videos of yourself like looking at your face. Sometimes you're like, okay, and noticing you have weird like little like facial tics. Like I've worn glasses my whole life, right? And I do a thing like rather than pushing them up, I'll sort of like scrunch my face to push them up further in my face. And if you watch the podcast, I'm sure you're probably like, yep, I've seen her do that, do it in the live streams. But I'm gonna say right now, it's a weird little tic that I have, but it's good. It's a good habit to have now when we're not supposed to be touching our faces as much. I'm gonna consider that a win. I don't remember what I was talking about. What was I talking about? Right, productivity. Yeah, I don't know. Just dress however you feel. If you feel like you've got to get up and dress work-like in order to get work done, then I don't know, do that. If you're like, screw that, I can get just as much work done sitting in my pajamas and laying on my couch and marathoning a show I've seen before, then do that. I mean, everybody's different. Some people can work with background noise, some can't. For me, it really depends on what I'm doing. If I'm doing like admin, like with numbers and stuff that I have to concentrate on, or if I'm writing, I can't really have much background noise that isn't just like white noise. Like even music can be a bit much sometimes. But if I'm twisting up yarn and labeling yarn or packing orders sometimes, then yeah, I can totally have a show on. In fact, I've been rewatching True Blood, which I started rewatching after after filming that video about guilty pleasures last week. I was going through and seeing what was available on our streaming services that we subscribe to, and I was like, oh, I've not seen this. I don't even think that I saw the last season and a half. And I used to be really into True Blood and when it was first airing. And I read a few of the books, but I think this was a case, like one of the few cases for me anyway, where I actually preferred the filmed version better. So I've been rewatching True Blood, and I was like, this show is really mean to Tara. I'm like, I don't know, I think I'm in season 2 or maybe 3 now. When you're marathoning, you sort of lose track. Yeah, real mean. Anyway, no spoilers. And Sarah and I in the evenings have been rewatching the American version of The Office because it's light and fluffy, and sometimes that's what you need. I have a feeling that we will probably end up rewatching Adventure Time again, which is one of our faves, and maybe some other stuff as well. I like how this started off with me being like, oh, here's kind of how to work from home, and it's turned into like survival mode. How to survive when the world feels like it's kind of burning around you. Like nobody really knows how long any of this is gonna last. Nobody has any answers. Everyone is scared. People with small businesses are definitely scared. A lot of the like help for small businesses is for businesses much larger than ours, so that doesn't really help people who are sole traders, etc. So yeah, I don't know. It's a whole mess. But we're all in this mess together, I guess is the thing to remember, is that we're all in the mess together, and that it's not something that only you are having to go through. It's something that we're all like the grimace emoji. That's how we all feel. Or perhaps the scared emoji. That's how we all feel. It's interesting because I've seen a lot of people be like, oh, I have so much like crafting time, and I have found myself getting into not great like stress scrolling, just circular spirals. Spiral is circular, it's a bit redundant. I have found myself getting into these scrolling spirals because you're just looking for information that's gonna like help you parse the situation, because that's how I respond to problems. That's how I respond to like events and issues. And I don't know why that I mean, none of us really know why we are the way that we are. I mean, we can make some educated guesses, but you know. So for me, the way that I respond to problems is solution. I want to find a solution. I'm going to find a way out of this mess, and I'm going to keep researching and gathering information and, you know, and figuring things out until I come across something that will help me get out of this problem. And it has served me pretty well throughout my 31 and a half years of life. it has served me fairly well. It's meant that, you know, we've been able to build a business. It's meant that I've gotten myself out of some pretty tight situations in the past, both emotional and financial and whatever. Before I was with Sarah, before I was living here, etc. So I don't not like that part of myself. I feel like it's also why friends will sometimes come to me and be like, I have this problem. And I'm like, all right, do you want me to fix the problem? Or do you need a listening ear for the problem? I can do both. But when it comes to things like this, there's no amount of research or gathering information that's going to help me figure things out with regards to our business, with regards to just us and our personal life. You know, the information is coming into us all at the same time. You know, the best thing that we can do is to try and avoid fake news or misinformation campaigns. The best that we can do is to try and question everything that we see. So if you see something that seems a little bit scaremonger on Facebook, for example, there was one kind of going around being like, oh, like the military is going to be locking people in their homes, etc. And there was a picture of like a big military convoy. And this is going around in the UK. This was like a UK. I don't know if it was only going around in the UK, but the ones that I saw were talking specifically about London. And a lot of people were sharing it and getting really upset and really scared. And I was looking at this picture and I was like, that's on the wrong side of the road. Also, that's not an England flag. That's a Red Cross symbol. And also the military convoys here in the UK don't drive those kinds of vehicles. So, but because people are scared and everyone's kind of like looking for something to latch onto to give them some sort of stability or normalcy, like this stuff is spreading like wildfire. So please, like just be cautious before you share stuff. If it's a post that's like, oh, like a text snap that says, you know, oh, well, I know a virologist who said that if you drink water, then you won't get sick. Well, who? Where did this come from? Like, who's the virologist? Who knows this virologist? Like, we don't know, like, if it doesn't have anything attached to it, then you don't know where that information has come from. It could be legit. That's not legit, by the way. But, you know, information you're looking at could be legit, or it could just be something that's going around Facebook to stir up fear and hysteria. My reaction to things is gather information, research, and I suppose, because I am a bit of like, I know this is a Harry Potter reference, and I'm trying to move away from those as J.K. Rowling has turned out to be a bit of a TERF. But in any case, for those of you who don't know, TERF is trans exclusionary radical feminist. So she has some pretty horrible toxic views about trans people, which I find reprehensible and really disappointing given that the Harry Potter series was very formative when I was growing up. Anyway, that aside, I consider myself a bit of like a Gryffindor, so like Gryffindor, Ravenclaw, because I do have a big mouth, as you all know. But also, I have a deep and unending love of research. It's how I ended up dying in the first place. Yarn dying, that is. Because I did tons of research on the scientific elements of dying and what makes some bonds work and what makes other bonds work and I just got really into the whole science of it and I got really excited about it. And that's why I ended up into dying, because I got really into the science of it and the research. I found myself in sort of just this chronic scrolling spiral, just hours on end, flipping from one app to the next, Facebook, then to Twitter, then to Discord, then, you know, Instagram, which doesn't have a lot of news on it, but still, you know, flipping back and forth between all of these different avenues, trying to like grasp something. And I ended up last night, I mean, I've been trying to get better by not using my phone before bed, but last night I just like really was struggling to pull myself away from it and ended up reading some stuff. And honestly, like, I don't know the origin of this information, so I'm not going to share it because I feel like that would be irresponsible. I read something last night that I found worrying, I guess. And I mean, it's not necessarily that different than any other information that's going around or anything, but for some reason I just like kept thinking about it, and then I was just laying in bed like consumed with this thought of like, how long is this all gonna last? You know, what is society gonna look like when we all come back from this? I feel like it's gonna look different. I feel like people are gonna have, I don't know, Anyway, when like none of us know, like me pontificating isn't gonna fix anything. It's not gonna give anyone any answers. But I just laid in bed for like hours last night. Couldn't sleep. Just thinking. And got up this morning and I was like, I should tell other people not to do that. And then maybe I should watch this video and take my own advice. Angie, if you're watching this, stop scrolling on your phone. Put it down. I use an app called the Forest app. With the Forest app, it kind of trains you to keep off your phone, and then it like grows a little tree on your screen while you're not on your phone. And if you want to use your phone while the tree is growing, you have to kill the tree, which feels very harsh, and then you don't want to kill the tree. And then it like builds up a little forest for you. And I think if you have the pro version, which is only like a few pounds, when you rack up enough of these like little coins that you earn from successful tree growth, they'll actually plant trees in real life, which is really cool. And so that's a thing that I do sometimes, and I probably should be way more like aggressive with that right now. In any case, so I have been doing a little bit of knitting. Last weekend I didn't get loads of knitting done because of Operation Social Justice and the amount of time that took to organize and then like make sure that everything is fine and answer emails of people that were like needed answers to things and so on and so forth. That's mail that just came through. Oh, hang on. Okay, sorry, my apologies. I thought someone was knocking on the door, but I guess it was just the door making a noise. And it was just junk. No, not that you needed to know what was in my mail, but here we go. Anyway, so I was just saying, you know, stay away from the scroll spirals. They're not good for you. They're not good for your mental health. We're all getting information at the same time, and maybe don't share stuff that you see on Facebook that doesn't have some sort of source of origin or a link to let you see where the information came from. Now more than ever, we have to be really vigilant with the kind of information that we're sharing. Right, so I was saying, oh no, I was talking about knitting. Well done. So I didn't get loads of knitting done last weekend, but I did get some done in between Operation Social Justice. So I was talking last week and I was showing off some wound yarn. I started an Alaska hat after spending literally like 2 years trying to decide on yarn for this hat. And so I started it with, do I have that yarn in here? I started it with a yarn that I bought from Needle and Fred, and started knitting it up and realized that there's way too much blue in my yarn that I used for the ribbing. So that's this is Sneck. I don't know, because I was like, oh well, there's only like, you know, speckles of blue in there, it should be fine. And started knitting it up, and because this particular pattern is so, like, you'll have like a stitch here and a stitch there, there's not a lot of like blocks of color to differentiate, it was kind of getting lost. And so I was like, ugh. So I pulled it out, and I've already decided I'm going to use that Needle and Fred yarn for some socks for a friend of mine. So I pulled it out, and then I started again using a mini skein set, the Tenet Terra, the second version collaboration set that I did with Lola of Third Volt Yarns, because I did keep one for myself. And so I started with this orange, so that's a nice contrast. And then I moved into this next yarn, which does have orange in it, but I feel like most of the orange has ended up like being carried in the floats on the back of the second color. So I'm really unsure. I feel like this is getting lost. Like, it didn't get lost with the orange, but I feel like it is kind of getting lost with this sort of pinky purple. So I've left it a few days because I'm unsure, and I was thinking maybe I should, I don't know, maybe I should pull this out now. But I'm kind of like, I don't know if I should keep going or if I should pull it out. I can't decide. So anyway, so this is what I've kind of been working on, and it's proving me right that I waited so long to choose yarns, because obviously I've switched yarns once already and may do so again. So I'm sort of proving myself right a little bit in that I'm like, well, I guess I was right that, so anyway, I don't really know what I'm gonna do as far as yarn decisions go. I might pull out this purpley one and go a bit further with the orange. I just don't know. I just don't know. I know that I'm being really picky about it, but that's because I've seen such beautiful ones on, you know, on Ravelry in the projects for this particular hat pattern, but I feel like a lot of other people have used much lighter colors so that contrast was just there naturally, whereas I don't know, I wanted not lighter colors. I wanted something a bit punchier or darker, and that's the problem I'm running into. So I haven't really decided what I'm gonna do, but there you have it. So I've been working on that, and this is, by the way, this is how I work with a chart. So I was working on that, and what else have I been working on? Oh, I started my Light in the Darkness blanket club. I started that yesterday. And I decided I was going to crochet mine, and I've done chunky yarn for like a light speed, like a really quick blanket, because I really love my chunky northeasterly, but it did take up a significant portion of my like knitting, crocheting, crafting time last year. So as much as I love it, I was like, maybe I can do something that's a little faster this year. So I decided to do just like a standard ripple blanket, no frills. I looked a lot of different crochet patterns, and I didn't want anything that was too piecey. So I didn't want to have to make a bunch of squares that I'd have to seam up later, because I'd make all the squares and probably not seam them up. If I'm being completely honest with you. So I wanted something that wasn't very piecey, so I've decided just to do a standard ripple. And here's what I've got so far. This is, I don't know why I did that, but it kind of works. It's like a headband. Right, so I'm using a 7mm hook. This is a Knit Pro hook. Yeah, this is a Knit Pro hook. I've got to have the ones that got like some sort of grip on it, otherwise I find that like I have like a death grip on the crochet hook, and then I ended up getting like quite a lot of fatigue in my wrists and my hands, so I've got to have the kind that have a little bit of a grip. Someday I'd like to get a set of those, what are they called? The Furls crochet hooks, those really fancy ones that are like super ergonomically designed, but they're expensive, so, and I don't do tons and tons of crochet. I mean, I should get back to it because I have really been enjoying this, because as stated before, I am definitely a product. Actually, I think I said that in the Guilty Pleasures one. Anyway, I am very much a product crafter. I like having the finished thing to show off. I think the only sort of artsy, craftsy thing I do where I enjoy probably the process more than the finished thing is watercolor painting. And that's because my finished watercolor paintings are like they're okay, but they're not, you know, anything to write home about most of the time. I've had like a few that were actually quite good. Like when I learned how to tap the brush to get the really nice speckles, that was a big thing for me. It really like makes a lot of sort of my mediocre paintings look a lot more like they have a lot more depth than they do, shall we say. Anyway, so I started off doing a ripple blanket. I'm holding this the wrong way. So as you can see, I'm only getting, what, like 3 rows because I'm using chunky yarn. But I think it'll still be like a decent sized throw when I'm done. Like this northeasterly is mammoth, is huge. It's like, I haven't actually put it onto our bed, but I bet it would cover the whole bed pretty easily. It's big, it's giant. And I like having a big giant blanket, but maybe having a smaller throw would be good as well. So this is kind of where I'm at with it. And then I did stop mid-row last night because I kept like miscounting or something. I don't know what I was doing. So I've actually really been enjoying just doing this really chill ripple blanket. It's just like trebles. Well, UK trebles. US trebles are different slightly. So I've just been doing this, and then I thought, oh, well, this is going so fast. I bet I could have done like a DK weight rather than a chunky weight, but whatever, it's too late now. It's too late now, I'm already doing it, so. In any case, so that's kind of what I've been working on. A little bit on that Alaska hat, a little bit on this, but like other creative stuff I've found kind of difficult. Sarah and I were talking last night actually, and we were talking about music stuff, and I was like, maybe we should like try and do a bit more music stuff. We're both trained musicians. We both went to music school. She still does a fair bit of music stuff, and I've stepped away from it in recent years for a variety of reasons. But I've really been enjoying learning the ukulele. And I've been enjoying learning the ukulele because there is like a 0% chance that I would ever use it in a professional music sense. I don't think that professional and music are ever going to go together for me again. And that's something that I've come to terms with, and that's fine. But there's a lot of things where I would work on where I would still feel like the weird pull to have it be like monetized, to have it be like something that people gave accolades. But with ukulele, it's just fun. It's just fun. So I was saying, oh, well, maybe we should do a bit more music stuff. So I don't know, maybe I'll learn a new song or something. Maybe I'll do some painting later. I don't know. But I've been trying to work on edits for the second book of my series, which is launching soon. Well, the first book is launching soon. And I've really been trying to work on it, and like it's been so hard to focus, which is not something I usually have that much of a problem with. So, because usually when I'm having trouble focusing, it's because it's a task I don't really want to do. It's because it's like, I don't know, admin, or, like taxes, I guess that's kind of admin, or, like a really boring, dull task that I don't want to do. That's usually when I have trouble focusing. And in those times I use like the Google Chrome extension, but it's called the Pomodoro app. So it's basically like 20 minutes of work and then like a 5-minute break, or like a 3-minute break or something. And you do that a couple of times and then you get a long break. And that's kind of how I've tended to do days where I'm like, I don't want to do my work. I don't want to do my admin. I don't want to schedule social media posts. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. But it's I find that it's more bizarre when you're like, I do want to be doing this. My brain's just not cooperating. And I know that probably a lot of neurodivergent people experience that on the daily, but it's something that's kind of new for me, and I don't like it. It sucks. I'm struggling to figure out how to kind of like make myself do it. But then it's like, well, I don't want to have to make myself do something that I should be wanting to do. It's bizarre. I'm not here for it. I would like my brain to kindly just cooperate and stop being such a pain in the ass. Anyway, so I've been trying to get some stuff done. I've been trying to get some blanket progress done. I've been trying to get various things done here and there because Animal Crossing releases tomorrow. And the new Animal Crossing game on Nintendo Switch. Why I asked Santa for a Nintendo Switch last December, and Santa delivered a gently used, refurbished Nintendo Switch, which is precisely what I had looked for and asked for. Spoiler alert, I was Santa in this case. I didn't want to like leave it up to chance. I was like, no, this is what I want, because I knew that there was this new Animal Crossing game coming. Because I do have a 3DS, but I got a 3DS like 4 years after everyone got bored of the 3DS. So I played Animal Crossing, but everyone else was like kind of done with it by then. Because they came out, in like 2012 or something, Animal Crossing, or whatever 3DSs did. So yeah, it was like a good 5 years after when everyone was like, yeah, this is not, this isn't what we're playing anymore. So I was a little bit behind the curve, but I'm excited to play this one on launch. And we bought a game capture card, which we are hoping will let us stream Animal Crossing on our live stream. I really kind of wish that my phone would stop crashing down on me. Anyway, so we're really hoping that we'll be able to stream Animal Crossing, because I feel like it's going to kind of be one of those things where you're like, this is what everyone needs in these times. Like, just some fun, like just some chill, you know, low stakes, relaxing. Like, I've been playing a lot of Stardew Valley since Mike played it on our stream last week. And that's been good. But I don't know. Everything is just kind of a mess, isn't it? But that releases tomorrow, and I placed a pre-order for it, and I just know that I'm going to be like, you know when a dog stares at the door, waiting for somebody to come home? Or when they stare at you, like willing you to take them for a walk, or willing you to like fill up their food dish? That's going to be me staring at the door tomorrow, waiting for the arrival of this game. And I'm just going to let myself kind of get lost in it a little bit, because you need some kind of escapism. Otherwise, you know, we're all going to get hung up with trying to figure out where to buy rice and pasta and toilet paper, etc. from. And it's just a whole thing. Everyone's trying to do, I don't know. I feel like the response of people in times of trouble, not to sound too much like a Beatles song, but is, I don't know, it's indicative that we have quite an sorry, I'm looking down at my crochet. It's quite indicative that we have quite an individualistic culture, I think, rather than a community-focused culture. So, I mean, you do see people saying, oh, you know, I'll help people out, or I'll do shopping for, you know, immunocompromised, vulnerable people. You know, I'll, you know, if you need something, I'll get you what you need, or whatever. So, like, you do see that, but you also see people buying whole shelves of baby wipes or bleach or disinfectants or whatever, and then trying to resell it on Facebook later. So, you know, I don't know. It's something that I've been thinking a lot about, to be honest. I don't know. It just, it's difficult. I hope that everyone out there in internet land who's trying to get hold of stuff that they need for their families, I hope you're able to get it. I hope that either you're able to get some at a store, or somebody's able to help you out. You know, we're trying to help out people around us locally as much as we can. But honestly, like, there's people queuing up outside the shops, like, you know, an hour before the shops open. And it's just wild. It's just wild. And that's what I guess that's what I mean when I say, like, well, we don't really know what's going to happen. And the other thing that I find interesting is a lot of people are like, oh, well, everyone should just ask everyone. And this is something that I found to be very specifically a British thing, is that people will sort of harken back to like World War II days. Why can't people just behave the way they did? That everyone was respectful then. And I was actually reading an article yesterday that was kind of digging up crime statistics, and it basically said that during blackouts, like during the Blitz in World War II here in the UK, that reportable crime went up like 57%. So I was like, human nature hasn't really changed all that much. I feel like human nature is largely the same. So it's easy to kind of look back and be like, how come, you know, people were, you know, really good to each other then and helped each other then in community spirit, and now people are being horrible? And I'm like, people have always been horrible. Maybe it's just that as a society we choose to remember the good stuff rather than the bad, which is both good and bad. I don't know. I'm no expert. I'm no expert, which is good, because apparently the world is sick of experts anyway. Lol sob. Anyway, so, I don't know. I guess I was talking about working from home tips earlier, but this is a terribly structured video. I don't know why any of you are still here. I'm sorry. I'm really not on form. I'm just like sitting here crocheting and, you know, chatting about random nonsense. I would just say, you know, if you are working from home, and kids are going to be home in the UK here from Friday, I think, and a lot of places in the US, kids are already home. If you're trying to work from home and your kids are at home, like, don't try to be everything to everyone all the time, because we don't know how long this is going to last, and you can't be burning out in the first 3 days. Like, I feel like the standards for life and stuff is going to change a bit. So, you know, don't be trying to like work from home and do 100% there and try to give 100% to homeschooling your kids and trying to give 100% to helping community efforts, etc., etc. Like, there's only one of you. Like, you've still gotta like be able to be there for the people that need you. So like, burning out in the first 3 days of the first week is probably not a great plan. And I realize that I am probably a bit bratty that I'm saying this when I don't personally have kids. Like, I get that there's a lot of pressures and, you know, you're worried about your kid's future and stuff. I'm just saying, you know, like I said earlier in the video, like, we're all in the same boat. We're all in the same boat. So, you know, I don't know. It's gonna be, I don't have any answers. Like, this is what I mean when I say, like, I struggle when there's not a solution that I can find through more research and more information gathering. Like, that's where I thrive, is when I can be like, right, let's find a solution. And for example, I was looking at a problem earlier this week, and I was like, oh, it really looks like this one piece of software is the only real solution to doing the thing that I want to do. But this software is like £230 and it's only available on Mac. So if I wanted this software, I'd have to pay for it, and I'd have to pay for a Mac in cloud subscription. I was like, that's a lot just to do this one thing. And the more I researched, the more information gathered, the more I was like, oh, like, I can't find a solution to this. And I was like, I don't really want to pay that kind of money right now for this thing, you know? Maybe at some point when this thing that I want to do proves like it's worth that amount of investment, then sure. But until then, I'm feeling a bit like, I don't know. I don't know. So I continued researching and I continued information gathering, and I did find a solution. And I was really pleased with that. But if I'm unable to find solutions and stuff, like, I just end up feeling a little bit lost, and I feel kind of, not useless, but I don't feel as helpful as I like to feel. I like to be able to come up with solutions to problems and stuff, and if I can't, I just feel a bit dazed and confused and lost a little bit. In any case, this is probably long enough with me just waffling. I am just waffling on and on. I need to go eat some breakfast because I've not actually eaten yet. And I'm going to edit this, and I think I'll probably edit the other one either today or tomorrow, and I'll put that one up as well. So you'll get 2 episodes this week if you're bored and want to hear my voice more for some reason, and my terribly structured, rambly videos. Then sure. We will be back with a live stream on Saturday night. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that it can be Animal Crossing, and that can be really fun. And then if we get that working, then maybe we could do some sort of community game nights with things like Mario Kart and Animal Crossing and like Mario Party and other stuff like that for anybody who has a Switch and would like to play along. But I'm just trying to get my head around the technology of it, which historically is not that easy for me. I do a lot of researching and information gathering, and then I'm still like, oh, I want to just work. So I'm hopeful that it will work. Anyway, so I'm gonna go and I'm gonna put some actual pants on, and I'm gonna have breakfast, and then I'm gonna dye some yarn. I'm gonna dye the first batch of back orders from Operation Social Justice, and then when my yarn arrives today or tomorrow, I'm thinking probably tomorrow, I will do the other batch of social justice yarns. So anyway, thank you for watching this rambly stream of consciousness. Please do like and subscribe if you enjoy hearing my voice for some reason. And I'm literally only having to count in 4s for this, and I'm still messing it up. Yikes. Please do like and subscribe and tap the notification bell if you really, really want to know whenever there's a new video. And do come join us for the Saturday night live streams if you are in a time zone that makes that possible and you feel like joining us, then please do. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I hope you're all staying safe. I hope you're all staying well. And I hope I hope you're able to get your hands on whatever it is that you need in the light of, it's not even like shortages really, it's just that the supply lines aren't set up for this. Like closer to Christmas, when they know that people are going to be shopping and stocking it more, then the supply lines are set up for it, but they can't do that with like zero notice, you know. So I would just say, you know, just keep on keeping on. That's all we can do right now, is to try and find joy in some places. So if you want to find some joy in Animal Crossing, then do so. I'm happy to share my Switch code with anyone who wants to play. I will probably be sharing that in the Facebook group, so come join the Facebook group and I will show you or I'll share my Switch code and we can all sort of play Animal Crossing together if that's something that you're interested in. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I will post both of those videos this week, and I will be back next week with a video. I don't remember what next week's video is even about. Oh, I was going to show you some dye experiments, so yeah, come back next week for that. Alright, thanks everyone, and I don't know, good luck.